Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
What's going on, you guys? This is the CEO of Shane Taylor Promotions and the baddest of all time, Shane Taylor, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Mark the Mark, Sir Michael Jenks. We're in a mood today, and we don't know if it's funky or miserable. So what is it?
I guess we're going to find out. Maybe we're going to play that funky music, white boys. That's all it is. White boys, girls, anyone who's ever listening right now, we're playing that funky music because we are a couple white boys. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to get back to having a beverage on the show. Still, drinking water again because we've had a little bit of a setback.
So what did you do?
I did too much at work, probably. Let's just say that. Because I'm an idiot. It was a miserable week. I felt bad for the guys. Mark wanted to do his part. Getting in and out of the truck is probably partial part of it. Throwing a couple bags of garbage under 25 pounds, probably part of it. But yeah, I don't want to tell. Well, maybe should I tell you what actually happened then? I spit
something. Oh yeah,
and I had some like pulling in my guts area.
So
the pulling in the guts area started a couple days before, and then I spit up some blood. So I got sent to the doctor by anybody and fucking everybody involved.
As you should.
And I'm now not allowed leaving the house unless I just want to stay in the hospital all weekend.
You're in the DL for 3 weeks, 3 days.
So I got my hand smacked. They're like, you can either stay at the hospital or you can be babysat in your own house. What rather you be? I'm like, well, I have some basketball games I'd like to do. They're like, you can either stay in the hospital or you can be babysat at your own house. They actually, they've called it like bed rest or whatever. I have podcasts to do. I have video games to play. I have shit going, but I won't do anything. Like, listen, I even know, like, I can let Miggy out because he's good. He wanders, he pees, he does his thing, and he comes back in. Max still has to be on a leash. He drags you down to the neighbor's yard. I can't because he's a mean dog. He's definitely pulling more than 25 pounds of pork. I even said, listen, I won't even let the dogs out this weekend. So the family has worked it out that there is somebody with me. So I'm not going to be a maroon all weekend. So I'm a 45-year-old being babysat this weekend.
Which is probably a good thing. But let's give you...
Feels like a turd.
I get that. And let's go off. You were trying to do something nice this week. You're trying to help out. You're trying to do more, which is fantastic. We know how much of a stand-up guy you are, but that's fine. I'm trying to be nice here. But you overdid it, and now you're going to have to deal with those consequences, and you may feel like a turd, but it's the actions of your consequences coming to bite you in the ass a little bit. So just relax, take it easy, play some video games, do some podcasts. Just relax. It'll be all right.
Yeah, I know.
You're not going to lose anybody over this.
I could have went to basketball games.
Well, had you not overdid it, you'd be going to basketball games,
Okay, Dad.
right? I mean, if I got to play the part, I'll play the part.
So I'm drinking water again.
Good.
One of these days, because I've been good. I have not partooken or whatever in any of the alcohol. I have had Mexican now.
How many times have you had Mexican?
Lots. Fine. I don't think that had anything to do with it. Nothing. We can't blame that. Maybe we can, because it's been 4 out of the last 5 days. But I digress. How is your week?
Well, not as eventful as yours, obviously, but I've had better weeks. You know, it's not. The only tea I'll give is, you know how big Mark and I are with family dogs. We lost one of our family dogs last Friday. Saturday morning. She was the overall family dog, lived with my mom and that. She was a husky German Shepherd mix called Savannah, lived 16 years, and just things gotten to a point, and she passed away over the night last weekend. So it's kind of been downer on it. So we've been just got her back from cremation yesterday. So we have that to be remembered by, and little paw prints and all that kind of framed in that. So yeah, getting through that. So that kind of put a gray cloud over the week per se, and not much else has really come up or I wanted to, handle or deal with. So it's been kind of one of those weeks where you just need to just be blah and be good. Props out to Kimberly. She came up Saturday and kind of helped me through it a lot too. Just some of the emotional stuff and that. So, props to her. And
how's Mom?
Okay. Mom's doing all right. She is getting through it. She had a hard day Saturday for sure. As did all of my sisters, to be honest, because we all, at some point had the dog in our house and took care of her and that, because she was literally the family dog. And
16 years is like that. She was one of your sisters, essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Sisters, yeah.
Yeah, my sisters got her. So it started out, my sisters owned her. They got her the year after I graduated high school, which, guys, that was 06. We'll just date it right now. And so the year after, 2007, they got her when they moved out. She was just a puppy, full of life, full of energy. We were having fun with her. When my sisters moved out from each other, she went to live with my one sister. And when my parents' neighborhood started getting a little bit rough around town, we decided to say, hey, you guys, we moved her to that house because she's a German Shepherd Husky mix and she has a bark on her. So just for protection purposes and that, especially in my dad's later years in life. But it was something pretty, it was hard to see. And this is my niece's, outside of my family, first pet she's really lost per se. So this is kind of a new thing for her too, trying to work through all of that. Questions in more of, I mean, she understand, unfortunately in my family, she's understood in her young age the concept of death. It's with my dad dying when she was 4, it happens. So this was just something that kind of came out of it, and she kind of understood that concept, but it's more or less when a pet passes that it hits you a little bit. It hits you differently. So yeah, it's been a rough week. So we're getting through it and moving forward now. So what it is what it is at this point.
I love you and I hate you. You waited until this time to talk about it. You didn't forewarn me. I've not been social media man either.
Yeah,
this week posted anything, so
you're fine. I did something Saturday morning, but it wasn't really anything. It was just to get it out of my system per se. And then, honestly, I was more worried about you because you're fine now, but you're spitting up blood and shit. So I figured
I did not spit up any shit.
Well, thank God you didn't spit up any shit. There'd be a whole other problem. They must have connected something wrong when they took out your appendix, if that was the case. But But yeah, so yeah, I didn't mean to spring that on you, but that happened this week. So it's been kind of just a blah, it is what it is type week. We'll just get through it and get better.
Yeah. Let's skip through this week. Whoa. Yeah, we're going to get to wrestling. I do want to do I'm really just sliding over all of this because this is horrible now because I feel blah.
Sorry.
No, okay. Guys, if you haven't listened to last week's Spotlight, it was definitely the cheesiest Spotlight I've ever had. Yet it was also very comforting, and just the way we met, the whole story, it really is. Jenks, I know I do this all the time. It might be up there already. It might be one that it's going to be a hard press for people because I can't pick one, but I'm just throwing it out there. This might be one for people to say, holy shit, that might be the Can Crushers interview of the year next year for the Crushies.
I mean, I haven't listened to it yet. I purposely was waiting till tomorrow when I'm traveling, see the girlfriend, but the advertisement and the hype that I saw on our social media pages this week, I'm excited for it. And guys, I'm already anticipating it's probably going to be one of my favorites. So I can't even imagine.
And what a humble, amazing human being as well. So go back and listen to that. Pause right now. No, I'm kidding. Listen to that. Yeah. Spoiler, I already have next week's recorded as well. Wednesday, it is with Sarah Bubbles. Completely different type of interview. Not that it's bad, but completely different because, again, I knew nothing about cheese and I knew nothing about Sarah Bubbles. They both wrote to me. I said, yes, you could be on the show. Tell me more. In Sarah's story, no ruining it, just a different start than I saw. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Nice little cliffhanger there.
Yeah.
I like that. The hook.
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. All right. So we are 2 weeks away from Royal Rumble. Right?
Yeah.
28th. Yeah. All right. So are you watching, and I know, and we'll get to everything, but I just want to bring this up. Are you watching it live? Are you bringing Kimberly in to enjoy, which we have the Rumbles and we have Roman against KO. As of right now. Oh, and what? What did
we have to explain a pitch black match, whatever the hell that ends up being.
Yep.
But yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we got 3 matches that are going to be heavily, let's say this, they're going to be really good. They should be, at least, especially with the creative in charge right now. These should be a lot better than what we saw last year, maybe than last year. Roman and KO, they're going to always deliver. We don't know what to expect from Pitch Black, so we'll see what happens with that. But go ahead.
Maybe 1 or 2 more matches added.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, don't expect everything.
Yeah.
Is this a pay-per-view that you have Kimberly come up and sit down and say, listen, hon, back in the day when there was no AEW and AEW wasn't stealing everything and winning every Crushy award and winning this and winning that and putting on banger after banger after banger, this was what we had. And this was my favorite pay-per-view / spectacle match. Do you invite her into this now?
Oh, hell yeah. Last year, the whole goal was for her to watch the Rumble with me. But we tried to get the dogs together. It didn't work out. So we had to say, okay, she left after a couple hours and I watched the Rumble by myself. And unfortunately, it wasn't great. So that didn't help my mood that day. But
2 for 2 on that day.
2 for 2 on that day. They both didn't do well. They were just not great. This year, hell yeah, she's watching it. I'm actually going to be, if everything works out now, I go to Meadville that weekend. So we're watching that in her apartment. And I have to forewarn her, I may jump for joy if people come out, surprises, what's going to happen, whatnot. So now I have to be in a whole other element of controlling myself because I can't be screaming at the top of my lungs either in apartment walls. But yes, we're watching it, man. Are you going to watch it live or are you going to watch it recorded?
Well, it will
live.
be one. Yeah, I watched live. I didn't, or if there were, I didn't take any basketball games on that day. I told the family, listen, you know how I am about the Rumble. Because just with the 3 matches into one spectacle, I guess, I'm excited.
Yep.
But let's stop there because that's 2 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen. And as we said last week, and this is where it's all going to come together, are we going to get a WrestleMania that we think? Are we going to get storylines that just come to an end instantly? Are we going to get Vince McMahon completely in charge again and change? WrestleMania is 3 months away. We have had this sale that we talked about essentially 3 to 6 months out. And we talked a little bit more after the podcast. The dogs are going to fucking start going nuts because they're the ones babysitting me right now, by the way. So bad on the family. 3 to 6 months out, you sell after Money in the Bank, essentially, after the huge pop of UK is what we were talking.
Yeah.
Tuesday, we thought it was sold. We're gonna encapsulate all this. So, but people have left before what we heard Tuesday. Jenks this week has been crazy, and I think it's only going to get crazier and worse for the WWE. I think. Let's talk through this.
Okay, let's talk through this. Yeah, I definitely think after the week we had with Rumor Sale Tuesday right out the gate. Well, no, let's start.
Started with Steph.
It started with Steph. Steph announced she was resigning. Then immediately following that, because I think it was still on Tuesday, it ended up being, they're selling to the Saudis, and that was the whole report. Let's
pause there with Steph first.
Let's pause with Steph. So, let's take this chronologically how this week went. Let's start with Steph.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Vince comes back let's just say Friday, because paperwork turned in Thursday. Friday, he's back. Walks in, has the meeting, and all that. So last Friday, Vince is back. Steph makes it to Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, whatever. It says, peace out, I'm resigning. Steph is doing one of two things. She is either all in on the sale, so she's recouping what she can, gathering, nesting, and getting her ducks in a line to sell, or she's fucking done with the WWE because she knows the path that her father is going to take. And I think she wants nothing to do with the WWE. And I'm leaning more towards that one.
I completely agree with that one. I'm going to tie in the piece of news that came out a couple hours ago. I think it was a couple hours ago, and tie that because I think it plays into what we're talking about here. A couple hours ago on Twitter, there's reports that were leaking that Triple H and Stephanie both opposed the sale of WWE, and there was tensions even before Vince had even left back in the summertime, and Nick Khan was actually acting as the middle person, calming Vince during that time, and that's what led to, I believe, the first resignation Stephanie had way back then. But now with Vince back, I think you're absolutely right. She knows where her father's going. She knows what her father's been doing, and all of that's all accumulating now. And she's like, you know what? I'm done. It's over with. Also, we should say get well soon to her because she just had ankle surgery today. So get well soon to her there. So it was perfect timing. I mean, I don't think Vince planned it that way, but she's like, well, I might as well resign, do my rehab for my ankle, and see where we're at in 6 to 8 weeks, months, whatever it ends up being. But I think she was just done with it. I think she wants nothing to do with her father. And because this was a power play for him. And this was, I think, the ultimate, I don't want to say stab in the back, but I think it was the ultimate just power play force of hand that he could play, and she was completely done with it. She wants nothing to do with it.
Agreed. Agreed. When she took off over the summer, it is because Triple H wasn't back yet either.
Yep.
Triple H had just had his health scare. She was like, listen, it really is family first. Me and Paul, for the love of God, we can call him Paul.
Yeah.
Paul, have kids. And maybe our kids want to worry more about, and I don't know, folks, you know we're stupid on the show, at least I am, want to worry about Pretty Princess and want to worry about this. They want nothing to do with this wrestling business in time.
Yeah.
So call Shane. Call whoever if they want this back, because Steph and Paul at one point are going to be done with this. And we're okay with this.
Yep.
That's where Steph's, I think, mindset was then. 2 weeks later, hey, your dad got caught with his finger in the cookie jar. Can you please come back and see what's going on? Your dad needs to leave till this gets cleared up. She's like, oh, I guess it's for the family.
Mm-hmm.
So she does it for the family. When he strong arms back in, essentially what you said, she's like, this is going to be his play. I'm out.
Yep.
And I was shocked. Maybe a day or two later, I'm already shocked that it's this long, that Paul, Triple H, whatever we were going to call him, the game, has not said peace out too.
I'm not shocked. And it's because of who he is and the passion he holds. He is holding a lot of cards here. And he wants to be involved in the business. And I think they made a conscious effort way back when, probably in the summer, and said, they made that conscious effort. If I come back in some sort of limited role, because remember, Triple H was back Paul was back in a limited role back then, not in charge of creative or anything. He was just there doing different things. It became, okay, Steph can step down. I'll still be involved somehow. And then everything transpired with Vince. Honestly, I could make the connection, and I'm just making an assumption here, so don't take this as fact, is this all started when more or less Vince just completely tanked and upended NXT right after Paul had the health scare, the heart condition, and all of that stuff, because he just did it within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This probably all extends back there because it looked like he was just waiting for the perfect opportunity to take it, pull it out from underneath him, and flip it on side its head. So now we'll fast forward, because that's my assumption. We get here, I think, back to Paul's thing. He has so much love and passion for this business. He couldn't see walking away, because where is he going to go to have that outlet to reach out? Is he going to show up on AEW TV? Highly doubt that. Could you imagine that war? He could, but at the time, in time, maybe, but I don't think it would have happened right away. But as we saw more and more come out of this, Paul got reinstated to creative, and he's like, okay, I'm in charge now. I can do things the way we want to build them. And there's positive reaction to it. There's positivity. People are loving the product again. People are building it back up. Us, everyone. We're reaching that 6 month point that we said right around this point. This is when Paul's gimmick and vision take over, and we start seeing it more and more, and it starts panning out more and more. But with Vince, the other shoe will fall. I'm sorry, guys. He's going to pull the ultimate power move. At some point, he is going to take over all of it again. You can talk about sale, you can talk about anything you want, but he's going to take it all over.
And that's kind of my next question, because, all right, let's throw this out there. Triple H didn't have one of his biggest players for his 6 month run in Cody.
Yeah.
Right. Cody was going to be a player from last year and the buildup, we're going to get some buildup in 2 weeks. We really are going to get some buildup in 2 weeks, I think, to what we're getting.
Yeah.
But Trips didn't have that. But now he bullies himself back in. You have other people in this, I'm talking about Vince now. You have other people in the board saying, peace out. the two guys that were leading the investigation of the allegations of sexual conduct and the R word and all of that said, "Oh, he's coming back. Peace the fuck out. I'm out of here because this guy is just a dirty old bastard."
Mm-hmm.
Bringing back people that we talked about last week that Vince had let go years ago. So he's getting his people back in line. And I agree, Jenks, as much as we're loving what Triple H is doing, at any point before the sale or the sale, Vince is going to be back in having his fingers on something. You're going to see it. It's just a matter of when. It really is. And I don't know if that's a good thing. Because if he sells it to one place, and let's list off some of the ones that we know. We have Comcast, we have Disney, we have NBC. We're going to put NBC, people in general.
Yeah.
What other ones?
Oh God. I think ESPN, the Saudi Arabian, obviously, ESPN, Disney's all one package. There's a whole list of them. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah.
But the major players, I think, and in real talk, Comcast, NBC, Saudis.
Yep.
And coming out today, AEW.
Yeah.
Tell me they don't have the money.
And it's either Tony or his father. Either one could make the purchase. It's not one or the other, and it's not a Shane or Vince thing. Not a Shane pulling the rug out from Vince. You guys know the whole thing with the invasion. But either one could do it. Yep. And one already promised, well, hey, Vince, if he wants to roll with us, he can have it when we buy, or if we buy it. I don't think Vince cares who he sells to be honest.
No, I think the only person Vince wouldn't want to sell to is Ted Turner. Like, if Turner would come back around and have money, because then essentially, it's a power. This is me putting a spin on it, Jenks, and it's a joke.
I know.
It's a power trip that Ted actually then beat Vince.
Yeah, billionaire Ted beat Vince McMahon. He played the long game at that point.
Right? But essentially, listen, the last wrestling on TNT and TBS were WCW 50 fucking years ago, whatever it was. Now it's AEW. Essentially, doesn't Turner still own those? Turner Broadcasting Network?
Yeah, it's Turner Broadcasting Network. Is Ted Turner still, not to be mean, but is he still alive? I don't know if he has anything to do with them, but it's Turner Broadcasting Networks. It's right. Yeah.
Hello. He still wins if AEW buys this. I don't know. In my heart of hearts, I think there's multiple sales. And I think that would be best for business as WWE uses. We're going to rip one apart and just tell you how it would not benefit anybody across the board. Comcast buys it, gets the library. NBC gets Raw and SmackDown and the talent and everything. I just think it's just get rid of Vince across the board. Trips and Nick Khan, if they want to stay, I'm sure there's going to be roles for them. I just think it's get rid of Vince and keep it public.
Yeah.
Because go ahead.
Can I go? I just want to correct one thing that we're saying here so that everybody on. Comcast actually owns NBC, and we're missing Fox in this whole discussion too. So take Mark's example, Comcast, Fox. Go ahead. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
while we were thinking about it. Yeah,
same. And you can throw anybody in wherever. But
exactly.
I was using those as generic Mark opinion.
Yep.
But the one we don't want to see, and duped us all, and because it was by DAZN, which is linked to a lot of wrestling things, and it said, this is out already. And I'm like, That's why I didn't put it on Facebook and everything as it's official. I said if this happened already, it was really quick. Yeah. Leaving it open-ended for us, not committing to saying that it happened, but I said if this happened already, holy shit. If Saudi buys, Jenks, these are our opinions. Take them to hell. Throw them in the toilet. Do whatever. Back it up a little bit. One, let's talk about the talent first.
Yeah.
You have a litany of people that don't go to Saudi Arabia shows for this, that, or the other. Let's just go there first for religious reasons or whatever, or just not liking Saudi Arabia. Is that half the roster?
Half the roster, one of your main event players right now, and I'm calling him a main event player in Sammy and KO. I think, Sammy's not allowed over there just because he's born Syrian. That's the only reason he's not allowed over there. And honestly, I'm sure his religious beliefs are preventing him from even going, or his ethical beliefs, because Sammy is more or less a stand-up guy. But you're right, half the talent already gone. Let's take it one step further. The women, let's take that one step further. The women, they're not even that. I wouldn't even know how that goes, because we all know the Saudis' belief around women, what they can wear, how they look, anything about them.
WWE has to fight to get them on a show right now, legit fight. And listen, it's not about the TNA of the Attitude Era or anything, but listen, when you have Sasha Banks or Bailey or Nat or Tamina, any of them over there in a jogging outfit and a t-shirt over top of it, and it breaks their character as well. They put so much into who Bailey is and who Alexa is and who they are, and you're just giving them a latex jogging suit and say, here, wear one of your shirts. How can they do or feel wanted there?
Yeah.
And they're damn well not.
No, they're not. They're not wanted in center stage or anything of that nature. It's you're absolutely right. WWE got them on the show because they needed to. Because they didn't want to.
America would watch the shit.
Yeah. Nobody would. And honestly, nobody does now. They don't watch it live. But to that point, you're right. Nobody would watch it. That's the thing about having such a sectioned off, secluded audience, or I'm failing to say the right word, but mostly an audience that only self-serves itself.
Right. That's perfect.
That's the problem with it. The people outside of that little world that they have built for themselves there, right, wrong, and different, whatever your belief system are, I have my beliefs. Nobody wants to see what is going on in there. And nobody agrees with the ethical treatment of that from outside the country.
Right.
Inside the country, that's how they operate. That's how they roll. That's their business. That's what they do. But when you get outside of that, that's where people start having that issue, and you start seeing where people are just like, why would I watch this? Why would I want to watch this? Look what they're doing to the women. They're taking, to your point, they're stripping away their identity to where they have to be in all jumpsuits. I'm happy that they got 2 women matches on the last Saudi show, but at the same time, it took a lot away from the women and what they do, because what they wear is their personality. Bianca's a perfect example. Bianca makes everything she wears. And yes, she made that outfit that she went to Saudi with, but that's not her personality. Her personality, she's vibrant. She's more, but that outfit was more pulled back, not really what Bianca is. And a lot of the ladies, they go with the traditional black or very bland outfits because they can only wear certain colors in that. And that's not fair to them, to strip them of their identities, to strip them of anything that differentiates them and shows them as strong individual people. I'm actually surprised that they got away with the last woman standing match over there, to be honest. But that is what it is. But yeah, to your point, it's you do this. The sale of it is just there's things.
Well, let's go deeper.
Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper before we get there.
Taking the talent now,
Yeah,
and throwing them away, which they're leaving as is anyway. Now we're gonna get to WWE and corporations.
yeah.
Okay. You also have. Let's throw corporations out, because we also have one that I need to talk about. You have the whole LGBTQ as well.
Yep.
And I know that's essentially with the talent and everything, but that's also the fans.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fans that are in the LGBTQ realm in wrestling. It did a lot for FIFA. This year's FIFA World Cup was like one of the least watched.
Yeah.
Because of that. So that's that. Now into sponsors. Well, they don't drink. So you're never going to have Austin over there.
Yeah.
Budweiser's gone. Bud Light, Natty Light, Steve Weiser's, whatever. There's just, no matter what you do, and you can throw all your loops in together, no matter what you do, it is the Saudi investment group. Okay? Investing in what? Is it Al Qaeda? Is it this? I'm pulling it all out, essentially. We don't know where it's all invested. It's Saudi Arabia. We blew them, and I'm not getting political, and I don't need Americans all over the world attacking me for what I'm saying. I'm just letting you know. We blew them out of the water. We rebuilt them, trying to get them help the way that America should be, or the world should be ran. This idea. They didn't do it, so now they have their kingdom. And It's not a good place. They just support shit, and it's not going to be the right fucking faction. Essentially, it's just look up and see what Saudi supports. You can find it. It's not anything that an American company should be involved with. We talk about the blood money for how long have they been in Saudi Arabia, Jenks? 5 years now, essentially?
5, 7, something like that, yeah.
It's just a money grab for Vince. And if he sells this, it's going to be a money grab. And it may be the only way Vince gets to stay on, because it becomes private then, and they let Vince run whatever he wants. And I know I knock about how Saudi wants the Ultimate Warrior over there, or this, that, or the other thing. It just shows how out of touch they really are with the product, and you just don't know what you're going to get. I just, in a lack of better terms, without getting way too into it or anything like that. And if you want to, cool, call me. Let's chat about what it could really mean. It's just not good. It just is not a good picture if this happens.
Yeah. I honestly don't. So I also flip to this side. You were talking about sponsorship. You were talking about anything. The way I look at it is if this investment firm is what buys them, they don't need sponsorship. They don't need anything, because they'll be just pulling it in privately. Now, I don't know how the Golf Federation Live operates. I don't know I'm sure they do sponsorship and all that stuff. I'm not too familiar with how that works, but they are owned by the Saudi investment firm. So this would be one extension of that. And it almost creates that type of dynamic where you're going to have two wrestling companies, one it's privately held, but it's in the United States. It's more open to sponsors. It's more open to LGBTQ plus and all of that. It's all exclusive, and we're talking about all exclusive, all elite. It's all inclusive. I should be saying that one, but
go.
Then you have the other side of it where it's very restrictive of who can participate and who can do what within it and what gets advertised, what gets looked at. Guys, if Saudi takes it over, you brought up the point about Stone Cold, they don't drink. That's probably the last time you see Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be at WrestleMania last year. That's it. That's over. You can watch him on the network because they're not going to bring Austin over to chug water in the middle of the ring. That's not Austin's gimmick, and Austin's not going to go. So it's there. We've talked. You've talked. You've already mentioned all of the stuff. We know what that kingdom is. We know what they're about and how they operate. So it really comes down to, and I think we need to transition to, I don't know if you were going here, but where does your fan support go? How does your fans go? Does it carry with the product? Does the loyalty of what WWEF used to be carry fans through to watch what it will be under the Saudi investment firm? And I'm going to look to you. I know how my answer kind of shapes. What does that look like to you moving in that direction?
I'm going to kick this over to some of my, I don't know if they know they're my friends, but some of the people that I follow on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
I stuck and stayed on TikTok, on Wrestle Talk, for about an hour the other night.
Yeah.
And you see all these WWE, true WWE marks. Listen, we're wrestling marks. I will watch Jenks wrestle a fucking toad and call the match, as well as he'll watch me wrestle a remote control and call the match.
Greatest one-star matches ever made. But anyways, go on.
Yeah. So I stuck and stayed on some WWE people that have hated AEW for years because it was the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
They hate Impact because of the alternative. And there's one that I watch. I'm not going to throw his name out because whatever. I don't care if he listens or not. But he's like, so I gave AEW a try this week. And holy hell, I've been missing something for 3 years. Because that's the last time I watched it. But I feel I need to get ready to start watching AEW and supporting that brand because I can't support Blood Money. And he ends there. And you got a lot of them just like that saying, if this is where the company is going, you are not going to have that trend. Listen, I'll watch WWF Superstars on the network. I want to watch the Repo Man. I want to watch the Red Rooster. And I'll watch up until the day of the sale. If I want to watch WWE and old school stuff, as I said, old school stuff, I don't know going forward. And, my I don't know means I'm not going to. Like, there's no possible way I could support that. And again, I am not Tony Atlas, Corporal fucking Kirshner, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, calling myself Mr. America, or Juan Cena, or Mr. America with a mask on. Listen, I do stupid shit. I make fun of America every once in a while too about, us doing that or stupid laws here or there. But there's a line. Like there's a line that, you cross, and that's not it. And of course, Jenks, you brought it up. It's because of the women. Like, we wave the women's flag so much on here that if Lacey fucking Evans, by the way, we have to talk about her too, real quick, gets kicked out of wrestling because it's going to Saudi Arabia, that's stupid. And you guys know I like Lacey Evans.
Yeah. Yeah, no, completely agree. I'm in the same boat. I can only watch up until a certain point, until the sale. If it goes through for Saudi, I'm done. I'm not even going to mince words. I'm just done with WWE, WWF. I would be hopeful that, hey, maybe they sell off the library to some other bidder, like Peacock retains it or something like that. Fantastic. I'll watch everything from before the sale. But after that, I can't. I just cannot bring myself to physically sit there and say, I support this. I'm going to watch this every night, or I'm going to watch this every week loyally. There's just no way. There's absolutely no way. And I'm not Mr. America. I'm not anything like that. But I'm just a human being that believes in human rights and that believes that individuals, women, men, women, children, no matter your ethnicity, no matter who you are, what you are, you deserve to live a life that you want to live. And that has been my mantra since the day I was born. So why would I support something? Why would I support a company that is firm in their beliefs, that does not support that human rights, does not treat everyone on equal footing?
The sale goes through with Saudi Arabia, and what do we think? I mean, I'm not saying break it down, President, but do you think we get all new people? Do you think it is Vince staying because then he can have his hands in and nobody essentially can touch him until the day he dies? Does Nick stay? Does Tripp stay? People in the offices that we're not. Me and you are not brick and mortaring this, but they're building a new place, not in Stanford anymore, like right down the road or whatever.
Yeah.
Do all those people stick and stay? Because listen, every company has shit go on that I don't like or you don't like, and hey, it's the Saudi month. We have to build it up for the Saudi month, and everybody's in the office like, oh, fuck. It's 1 month. Let's just get it out of it. Then we can forget about it for another year. They jump back on every other project, and they're happy.
Yeah.
How do you have the marketing department in, let's just say, Stanford, Connecticut, saying, hey, man, we're trying to tell you here in Connecticut that Saudi Arabia is a great place to go watch WWE live? Yeah. How many of those people say, I'm going to go work at Quickfill or Walmart or Wawa or, just because this isn't me anymore? Like, it has dramatic changes for the entire company. People that we don't know in WWE have to have an opinion saying, this is the worst thing in my life. Mm-hmm. When do we start seeing people, and I know this is all presumptuous, whatever, because it's not going to Saudi as of yet maybe, who knows, but it's out there. Mm-hmm. If it's Comcast, they engulf everybody. Hey, cool, everybody at WWE now works for Comcast. Maybe there's some cuts, maybe there's some whatever. Okay, it's just a different atmosphere. It's a different beast that we don't know.
I completely agree. I mean, you think of any other player. I'll go off of everybody that works in that office. I think there's a mass exodus, and I don't know if I think it's a combination of who the Saudi firm wants in place and who ends up saying, I can't support this, and walks out. Honestly, we know who's going to know about the deals before they're done. And if you start seeing top executives leaving months before sales, you know that something's up. I guarantee you Triple H is out the door. I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H is out the door sooner, even if it's a sale to NBC or something like that. But if it's truly the Saudis in that, he's out the door. I don't know if Nick Khan would say. I feel like he might be out the door too. I feel like there's a lot of people that would just walk away.
I think the top three, no matter who, unless it's the Saudis, Jenks.
Yeah.
I think the top three are out the door. And I say mm-hmm. it, Vince, no matter if he's there for creative or not, he gets his money, he's out the door. Nick Khan and Triple H. I can't. There's other geniuses in wrestling, and I'm not knocking any of them. Listen, for what Vince did when we were both kids until now, as a personal human being, he is a douchebag. You know how you don't want to meet your heroes and everything? Not that he's been my hero, but I never care if I meet Vince McMahon. I don't care. But right now, if you would pass today as we're recording, I feel sorry. I send respectful wishes to his family, this, that, and the other thing. I will talk about how he has changed.
Mm-hmm.
He himself has changed professional wrestling, and I give him my respect as a businessman. That's it. Tripp's the same way. I loved him as a wrestler. I don't know him personally. Nick Khan could walk by me tomorrow in Ridgeway. Unless he's got a sign, I'm Nick Khan. I don't know what he looks like, nor do I care. Right?
Yeah.
There's other people that can run a business.
There is. Well, and to that point, I think I'm going to step outside. You're right. Other people can run the business. I do think, though, a lot of these prospective buyers, you can throw the Saudis in there, know who they want to keep from WWE because they know who's running the business. Now, if we look at ratings and things going up recently over recent events, because obviously people are more invested in the product that's going on now, those big markets, Fox, Comcast, Disney, which I can't wait if it's Disney to make a bunch of House of Mouse jokes and just fantasy book a bunch of Disney characters fighting each other. But
it's going to be more cartoonish.
I think it would.
Disney.
I think it would be more cartoonish. I think they would give them some rope because they're giving Marvel the rope and they understand that they need to have some sort of dark side to it. So like the way Triple H has it set up now would be fine for them, I think.
You're not getting Val Venus back.
You're not getting Val Venus. You're not getting them chopping off Val Venus's wiener on live television. You're not getting it. You're not getting Sable bouncing around with handprints on her boobs. You're not getting any of that. And thank God, because we moved away from that and grew out of that a long time ago.
Right.
But you're going to get this style of product that we have now. Honestly, I'd book for it.
Right. We can build off of it.
We can build off of it. We can book off of it. Hell, you know what? Maybe we'll even get a fucking cartoon show that puts every Disney character against each other in a wrestling ring. That'd be fine, too. Something for Disney Plus. Throw it out there for the kids.
Maybe we get Austin Theory's Rockin' Wrestling.
We could.
Down.
Yeah, exactly. Look, see, we're thinking about this now. There's possibilities there. We went down that rabbit hole because we had to. But at the end of the day, these bigger players that are out there, we could almost section these buyers a little bit into who's going to want to keep people around, who's going to want to switch back to Vince in charge, and I think that's only the one group, and who's going to want to just say, you can stay if you want, but we really don't need you. And I'm grouping the AEW faction in that one because...
Yeah, we'll let you stay for a year.
We'll let you stay for a year. We'll let you figure out... You don't have your
hands on creative at all. You're just here as a figurehead.
Exactly. To that point, though, you have ROH, you have AEW, and then you have WWE. There's no way you're running all three companies at once. So maybe they do keep them, but it's out in the air. But I think your larger corporations, your larger networks, and all of that stuff are basically sitting there saying, listen, we like Triple H, we like this and that, but they will not communicate that or deliver that message at all because the guy who runs and holds all the chips in this conversation is Vince McMahon. And as soon as he hears that, he's still a prideful man, and each and every one of them is out of the question. Yep. And I think that's why we're seeing Nick Khan going and meeting with Disney, going to meet with ESPN. He's going to make the first initial steps with a lot of these other corporations because they can talk freely with Nick, and then Nick can filter what is said in those meetings to Vince McMahon.
All right. I love this so far. God, we'll talk minimal wrestling and I don't care.
Yeah.
We might even have a break, but how do you filter that? All right, you're talking to, I'm going to throw a name out. You're talking to Scott Van Pelt. All right, he's running ESPN because everybody on this freaking podcast knows who that is at least. You're talking to Scott Van Pelt because he now owns ESPN. Him and Nick Khan are talking. Hey, man, I want John Cena. I want Austin Theory, Seth Rollins. I want all these guys. I want you, speaking to Triple H, Nick Khan, I want you two to run this. Promote it. We're the largest sports fucking entity in the world. Blah, blah, blah. We don't want anything to do with Vince McMahon. They say that blatantly to Nick Khan and Triple H. How do you spin that? That your father-in-law and essentially your best friend employer. All right, you go back and tell Vince that we love all this and we don't want anything to do with you. Once he signs a name to us, he can get bent. Now, you be Nick Khan and Triple H. How do you go back and tell that to Vince?
I think you plainly...
Without breaking his soul.
It's not even breaking his soul. It's breaking his ego. Like, how do you say it? Stroking his ego. And how do you talk about this? In corporate ease, it's essentially you're looking at the man and saying, listen, Vince, we had a great conversation with them. They like the leadership team we have in charge right now running our product. They would like to be invested in that. You know, outside of that, they're really not looking for any they're looking at the board, looking at what they're doing, but our board members would run the show. At that point, Vince McMahon is only a board member when you're having this conversation. So you have to phrase it and say, they like what's in charge right now. They want to buy it this way. It's specific. Vince, we appreciate it, but we would think that at the end of the day, you would need to take your package and go home. Obviously, they're not going to say that to him. I would love them to say that to him, but you have to sugarcoat it in some way, form, or fashion. This is how they want the deal. They want the leadership we have. They like who we have in place right now. They may have one or two tweaks they want to make to whoever we have in charge. Sometimes the best way to avoid it is to not say it. Exactly. So that's kind of where my head goes. They could kind of address it, but maybe they don't address it and say they like the figureheads we have in charge now. This is where we stay.
It makes sense.
It does.
Makes perfect sense. And I would say, and I'm beating this to a dead horse, I would say anybody from America, the companies from America, are going to probably dance around that conversation that you just had.
Actually, let me go off on that. Let me push back on that a bit. There's some people in America that might have the relationship with Vince McMahon and will blatantly tell him to his face, listen, man, you're just not good for business. Does it mean they don't get it? Maybe, but it also means they might have his respect enough to say, all right, fair. Because at the end of the day, we're towing two lines here. He is an asshole. I completely agree. But we're toting two lines here. We're toting prideful asshole Vince McMahon. And we're toting I want your money, Vince McMahon.
Touché.
Money talks. And money will override his pride any day of the week if he can ride out into the sunset with whatever the hell it's going to cost to buy WWE.
So who, and then we'll do one more thing. Who do you, in your heart of hearts, if you could help wave this flag, want to buy this? Oh, by the way, and let me just throw this out there. If you would win the Mega Millions tomorrow,
I was going to go there.
You can fucking buy it yourself. But that's not who I'm talking about.
Legit was going to make that joke, so thanks for stealing that punchline from me.
Because I saw it on your face.
That reminds me, I should run out and buy some after we stop recording. Anyways.
You can buy them tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah, it is tomorrow morning. Today it's Powerball. Anyways, if I'm looking heart of hearts, personally, because I've done a lot of the business training at work and doing all that, I'm looking at it from this perspective. I think a lot of great things can be done with Fox, Disney, and or Comcast. You have the great relationship with Comcast USA, Disney, ESPN Plus. You have a platform in Disney, or, well, I guess they put on ESPN Plus to deliver WWE content, the library, everything. Put it on ESPN2 because they barely put anything of substance on ESPN2 unless you're talking about Pat McAfee's national championship games.
Right.
Calling. So throw it on ESPN2. Hell, that's in every home, everywhere. Mega package there. Then, or you talk about Fox, who has the Fox Sports app, so they have an avenue to deliver the product. They have the national channels. They have the network that you can get.
The FS1, 2, 4, 80, yeah.
FXX, FX, whatever you got, you can streamline there. Those are the three logical ones to me that I would want to get it. Chaos Me wants Tony Khan to buy this. And I want to see how this goes. Well, this might be only one payoff. The bidding war of 2024 would look a lot less interesting if MJF has to pick between all three Tony.
Whoa.
Just kidding. Anyways, I think it would be interesting to see how Tony Khan would go about this, but we also create a monopoly in the business, because whether you want to talk about whether you want to talk about Impact or some of the MLW, NWA, they're not big enough to rival AEW, WWE, ROH, just like ROH, Impact, TNA, they all could not rival WWE when WCW folded. So there's a lot of players in this. I think for Chaos, it would be fantastic to see the guy, all of these talent, get a fresh start. We get breathe in life, fresh storylines where Tony Khan lets them off the hook and lets them do what they do best in the company. I do think he would have a working relationship with Triple H, because I feel like Triple H does not have loyalty to Vince McMahon right now, because his daughter doesn't have loyalty. Nobody does. Vince is on his own island right now. So he would go. I think he respects what they're doing over there, despite his comments back to Billy Gunn a couple years ago about buying that pissant company, which that's still hilarious now that WWE's up for sale and they're not. But to me, that's the Chaos one. How does that all play out? Chaos Monopoly one. I think it's the three networks. I rambled. Who do you think?
I don't want the Chaos in my old age, honestly.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm good with that. If I don't get it, that's fine. I'm just saying that would be the Chaos option.
Because I think no matter what happens, there's going to be a lot of changes across the board. I think talent that may have had, hey man, this guy has given me everything from, Florida Championship Wrestling, Seth, Roman, whoever, John, all the way up the line. He's gone now. I can go work a lighter schedule into the time that I'm 63 years old, a la Sting, a la whoever. I think we get that. I think we get a lot of back and forth transition of I'm here for a little bit, I'm here for a little bit, I'm here. And that's okay. So that'll be Chaos enough for me. So, no, I don't. I already saw Vince and Shane walk in and buy it from Ted. I don't want to live that 20 years over again where there's only one. And I'm not knocking Impact or NWA or anything like that. There's only one big one. There's a ton of little ones, and we love indie wrestling, yada, yada, yada. But I've lived that. I'm good. And I don't know if I want Fox to get it either, because they've had some UFC stuff, and I'm like, they didn't market it well.
Mm-hmm.
They market the fuck out of football, NCAA and NFL. Listen, sometimes you just don't brand right with the company. I'm all right with that. So Fox, if they're on it, I'm going to still watch it. Don't get me wrong. But I just think they're branded for other things. I think this is NBC's. I really do. No knock on Comcast. They've had their ups and their downs. I think this is NBC's, and I think they've played the long game. They were one of the first places that have ever had wrestling on. They brought us Saturday Night's Main Event. They brought us all these like little shows here and there. I think it's their turn. I'm pulling for them. I have no stock in the game, but I think, why not? Why the hell not? Do I think that ESPN and Disney and all that, I think that's the perfect fit. Honestly, you have 75 fucking streaming services between one conglomerate. And right, they are on ESPN too. Then boom. But I don't know. In my heart of hearts, let the little guy win. NBC is not little whatsoever, but pulling for a little guy in NBC.
I'll go off that point. I agree with you about Fox being that. I think that's a distant third one. That was more of a network play for them in this relationship. The NBC one, I think, is your safest option, if I will, because to your point, what'd you say?
If you will.
You will. Sorry, I went deaf for a second. I couldn't hear you, but it was. You're right. They have the history with the product and all of that, and really, you can go back to the relationship with Dick Ebersol and all that stuff that brought it there. But it's the safest option because the guys are familiar with it. There's a lot of close ties. There's a lot of good things in it. You'll have a lot less turnover with the talent if they believe, because they know what to expect with NBC. It's the devil you know mentality there. Then it's ESPN's the bigger package. It's how you do it. It's how you present it. Thinking about it now, actually talking through this, Mark, it brought up a point in my head that I don't think we were considering. Monday Night Raw will not be on ESPN2. You're going to put it, and here's why I say this. If they buy it, you're not going to put it on ESPN2 because football season, it will compete with Monday Night Football. And you would have to lose Manning cast, essentially, that you have built up over the year.
Right.
And then, actually, that's the point. They're going to be competing with Monday Night Football. Friday nights, you have basketball on ESPN. Now you're going to be having that as a competition within your own network. So ESPN might be looking at this.
ESPN's also getting more hockey games. I mean,
exactly.
Not fun, but listen, I just, it might just not be the right fit. You can have too much.
But and to that point, let's go off of that point. If it goes to ESPN Disney, does it become a streaming service only product?
I think that hurts. I think that you're going to pay, and I don't know, bajillions of dollars just to stream it. And people, listen, are they going to pay right off the bat just to stream weekly shows?
Yeah.
You're saying, yeah, they are?
Here's your cap. $15 a month gets you Disney, ESPN, and Hulu. ESPN Plus, $7.99. I think people would pay that. They're paying Peacock $5.99 or whatever it is with ads to watch pay-per-views, right? I think people would buy it. But let's put the flip side on that. You still own ABC. That's a network television. Maybe they put it there. Yes, it competes with ESPN, but it's not on your sporting networks. It's on national network TV that gets to everyone's homes, whether you have satellite to streaming to hell, just an antenna with aluminum foil on your arms, holding it up in the air. And I'm doing this, guys. Wish we had YouTube so you can see what I'm doing here.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Make it work. I'm not doing anything this weekend, so that would be extra stress on my body.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. But I did all the work for you here with this little aluminum foil shit going on. But ABC gets everybody's home, so maybe it's a smart play to put it on ABC. I don't know. To me, to you and me, we talked about it. NBC's a safe play. I think NBC's your best play right now because, hell, you don't have to move too much either. The Peacock's already got all the stuff on it.
Or is there, and this could be tackled next week. By the way, we would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Yeah. And this is a bag of plead, whatever. Drop us an email, cancrusher69@gmail.com. Or if you want to call in to give us a shot on that this would be a perfect one for you guys to kind of let us know what you think. 814-299-6687. 814-299-6687. Give us your thoughts for next week about where what you really think is going to happen with WWE, because this is going to be a story. This is going to be in the hot take for essentially 3 to 6 months. Jenks and I really talked about how everybody wants to sell high. Of course, the numbers across the board are high, and we'll jump right back into this. I said after recording between a text between me and Jenks, I said, it's as soon as Money in the Bank's over is when you sell, because you've booked that one for one more to do to show. You don't book that in the UK if you don't know what you're going to get the numbers. This is a big pay-per-view. It's not Jenks's Jamboree in Jehona's Valley or wherever. This is a big pay-per-view. Money in the Bank is going to change some shit. The night after, boom, we sold to NBC, because look at what we just brought to the world, not just the United States.
And to that point, now you're hyping up one of your big 3 pay-per-views for that next month, SummerSlam, and saying NBC presents WWE SummerSlam from whatever stadium that's going to end up in. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. The end goal, you're right. The end goal is in the break fix or the break off is Money in the Bank, or they announce that Money in the Bank in the night after SummerSlam is the new beginning reset that they do. Yeah. And they say, we're hitting the button here, and this is when we cut over to NBC, ESPN, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Lots going on, guys. We'll talk about this. As many details as we get, we'll kind of follow this, because it's the biggest story in wrestling. This is WWF is what I grew up on. WWE is what it turned into.
Yeah.
We don't know. Is it going to be WWE? Is it just, hey, we're buying this entity and renaming it?
Yeah.
Nobody has talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy companies and say, all right, we now own this. We're going to change it to this.
WWSPN has a lot of great hook to it, right?
Yeah. I'm going to flip them over, and it's going to be MME when I buy it with my winnings.
Yeah, me. The me.
Wrestling.
Me wrestling.
Every week.
Just get RVD out there. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right. Do you want to talk wrestling? Do you have anything else on this?
Nothing on this. Nothing on this. We should talk wrestling. Probably at some point, right?
Oh, yeah, right now. Collar and Elbow hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and the Hooligans have down at collarandelbow.com. Check them out. Promo code Can Crushers, all one word. Capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. You save 10%. We already gave you the phone number. We already gave you the email. Listen to us everywhere our Spotify's are. Listen to us everywhere podcasts are. And Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can find us there. Yeah.
Yeah? Can we?
I think.
I don't know.
Here comes Al Snow to tell you more.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
What is up, Cheeseheads? The Gorgonzola Rock and Roller, the Sultan of Swiss, the amazing Asiago, your favorite part of the charcuterie board. I am the cheese, and you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, and I hope you'll listen again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Can Crushers. Mark the Mark, Sir Michael Jenks. That was a great hour conversation, Jenks. I love that. I know people are like, holy fuck, they really stuck on one topic for an hour. I don't think we've done that forever.
It's been a long fucking time since we did that. I think since the Vince McMahon news broke when he left, that was the last time we actually did that. But it was a great conversation. It was a great conversation. But guys, I would suspect we might have a lot more of that in the near future, depending on news coming out and things of that nature with this sale.
I wouldn't suspect. I would guarantee.
Yeah, because this is going to happen. There's going to be a lot of speculation. We're going to start narrowing down candidates, and we're going to go from there.
Okay, if I win tonight.
If I win, I'm putting in a bid. I'm bidding.
I don't know what it's at for tonight's Mega Million. Essentially, I know it's in the billions. 1 point something billion.
It's 1.3. I can officially tell you.
What is this sale amount going for WWE, do you expect? What did we hear?
I don't think I heard a price, actually.
I didn't hear a number yet.
Yeah, and it's definitely not billions, that's for sure. We know it's got to be, I'm thinking double-digit millions. I don't know if it goes triple.
I thought it was triple.
Was it triple?
It doesn't matter. Listen, and we're going to go to AEW real shortly, but why would you not say $450 million?
Yeah.
You're a billionaire. I know, listen, I'm going to hear, well, you're not going to get all of that because of taxes, blah, 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 blah. Right. But if me and you, Jenks, I'm not lying, can live off of $10 million the rest of our lives. Right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm taking that first. Boom. Putting it away. Here is my life money. My family's okay. Maybe a little bit more. Fuck it. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Now I have $780 million after taxes. I'm taking half of that and buying the WWE.
Yeah.
How long will I run it? I don't know. Either into the ground or make a fucking ton out of it, and somebody else will say, oh my God, these guys are freaking geniuses, and want to buy it when it's really hot.
Yeah. Well,
all I had to do is pay $1.99 or $2 or $5 or whatever Kelly spent on the lottery ticket. So I'm out no money.
No, you're in the plus. You're making it at that point. And that same, you're investing in an opportunity that, and let's be honest, if either of us two walked away with it and said, we're the WWE, we're not getting rid of most of the people that are there. We're going to say, okay, what works for you? Because I'm guaranteeing you, we're keeping Triple H in charge of creative. I mean, I would.
I'm owning it, but you're coming in for something.
Yeah.
Or we're going to bring in a couple other
people. Yeah. But we're going to leave the main core that run the product in place, because why mess with something that works?
We're going to be in charge of pretzels, popcorn, and peanuts, but own the fucking thing.
Yeah. And you know what? We're gonna replace that fucking green shirt guy in that front row. That's for goddamn sure too.
Right. Definitely. I don't want the Mets guy there anymore either.
Yeah, Mets guy can go.
I don't know. He might be one of our biggest fans.
He might be. We're just throwing it out there. If you are, hey, hit us up. We'll talk.
Again, we're out no money. Yeah. We're the $20 that we spent on, I'm just going to say $20 that we spent on lottery tickets, that's what we're out. We've taken our life savings, essentially, put it in a bank, which is going to grow under somebody else's name.
Yep.
So when we lose all the WWE money, they can't take that away from us.
You build it under an LLC. WWE goes down, it goes down with the LLC.
Right.
We're coming up.
And we have that other money, which is just there to bring in other talent. Maybe, hey, this is what we got to work with. And
yeah.
Rampage and Battle of the Belts happened last Friday because we're idiots. Why? First and foremost, why did we have to have a 5-minute break in between all? Why couldn't it just be a 2-hour fucking show? This annoyed me, by the way.
They always do that, and I don't understand it. If it's like they need to do a clean break with the companies or the sponsorship or whatever the hell's going on, I never understand that too. But also to that extent, I mean, between Rampage and Battle of the Belts, it was kind of
same show.
was the same show. Yeah, exactly. It was the same show. One was a little bit better. It was like more of a main event style show than what we saw in the other one. But yeah, I don't get that. Just run a 2-hour show on Friday nights and call it all Battle of the Belts.
Right. Rampage is offer.
What the hell?
Rampage presents Battle of the Belts 5.
I was just thinking of that. Just call it Rampage present. You call Rampage Beach Break, Rampage Winter is Coming Rampage. You call it all of these. Just call it Rampage Battle of the Belts 5, 2 hours long, and you're done. There must be some sort of sponsorship thing that's different between, or TNT really just hates that they have a 2-hour show on.
Right.
And they have to distinguish.
We can't get Rampage. Oklahoma against Minnesota to play a 9:00 basketball game. What the hell?
You guys are taken away from our TNT TBS basketball. How can we get Chuck and Shaq? I'm sorry, Bailey is going nuts in the other room right now.
She hates Chuck too.
Listen, man, that's terrible. Charles Barkley going. We can't get Charles Barkley versus the women of San Antonio all the time, guys. We got to actually put wrestling out there for actual matches and that. So
this 2 hour starts, and I'm not going to call it anything but 2 hours from here on out. Danielson and Mox against Top Flight. I'm done with the BCC against Top Flight.
I am too. I will say though, they've had a lot of great chemistry and a lot of great matches between the two.
They're 0-2 though. The BCC. There's no other. I guess you can get Mox and Yuta now.
Can I throw this out at you? Same thing happened with Yuta. Are they absorbing Top Flight as a tag team? Does that happen? Like there's like a brutal down the road, because I think
bad taste in my mouth. Remember how I hated the Acclaim 2 years ago?
I know
the distaste for it's not. They're great athletes. They do not fit BCC. You cannot tell me that flippity flops fit BCC. Yuta does not do flippity flops. He never did.
Right. I'm not disagreeing with that, but what if it happens?
Ugh, that's what.
So if you hear random squeaking, somebody squeaking behind my chair.
I see a tail. And of course, they can't see hands yet. The tail just goes. Blah, blah, blah. It's all right. Max was on my lap waiting for you to come back from.
I saw that. I appreciated that.
Come in and say hi, but I kicked him away right off the bat. The other one is assed out on the couch. He won't wake up until Monday morning. We get and of course, we knew it was going to happen. We get the Hangman passed all his tests, he's ready to go. Hayter and Baker against the Renegade Twins. I really like the Renegade Twins. I really wish they would just get signed. They are a Thunder Rosa product. They've been on, they've been off again. Some people speculate maybe it's because Thunder Rosa had that little outing. They come to terms saying no. They've already had a schedule. Same thing with Kylan King, that hasn't been on AEW for a while. No, because she got signed for NWA, and just a lot of things happen when you're a independent star.
Yeah,
float paces. But when you get picked up by Impact or NWA, you have to look at AEW and say, hey, they're giving me a weekly, monthly contract. You're giving me day by day. There's no disrespect, but I do think the Renegade Twins would make a lot of hay in AEW. So I really wave their flag that they should get signed. Solo, individual, tag, whatever. But of course they lost against the Pilla and the Killa.
Yeah, they did. I would agree with you. I think it speaks to maybe AEW should really start exploring that women's tag division a little bit more, because you can get great teams and get them in there. Get the Renegade Twins going. Obviously, they're going to have more established stars, but that's how you build it up. You get the established stars, the titles first, and you gradually build off of that. I think they're missing an opportunity with it, but you're right. You're absolutely right. You're faced with a actual contract instead of day-to-day, hey, I'm going to pay you $500 to show up to TV and get your ass whooped by the Killa and the Pilla and the Killa. You're going to take the contract, because it's security at that point.
Right.
So, but to your point, let's get him in there. Let's get him signed. Let's do something outside of bringing in the talent. I love you bringing in the enhancement talent in that. That's what you do in Dark. That's what you do on Elevation. Let's get some of these people signed and start building up that next wave of superstar. We're pushing in Action Andretti to the moon. Let's start getting some other people in there involved as well.
And of course, let me say this: let's give it some of the women.
Yeah,
we see Sky Blue, and she's continued. She was in first All Out or All In or All Upside Down. I don't remember what the very first one was. What All Out?
All in.
All in.
Yep.
She was there. She's been around. She's been lingering. Finally signed. But yeah, continue that. We need more of that because we do see a lot of the guys get like that.
Yep.
Andretti. There's a couple other ones that we can name. We've seen Willow, maybe, is the one I can say for the women.
Willow definitely. Sky Blue, I think, made her own path, and we'll get to it in Battle of the Belts. But man, she might have been one of Jade's better matches, and we'll get there when we get there, especially that ending sequence. But we'll get there because that was fantastic. But let's stay on Rampage here before we get off path. But I agree with you.
The House of Black is calling out Kingston. Yes, please. Yeah, this is a callback from a year ago.
Yep.
And I thought, well, it was just put away. Yes, please.
We're circling back. And there's a lot playing into this now with Ortiz and Kingston having that tension there. I want to see how this where this plays, how this goes. It's going to be really interesting. It's interesting. I don't know where it goes, but it's interesting. And I love this. I love that we're going back to it and we're circling back and we're going to attack this now because this is a substantial rivalry that I think has legs and can carry for a while.
Agreed. And then fast forward this because it's just another blip on Wednesday. There is some tension between Ortiz and Kingston, but we find out that it's not the House of Black anymore. It is called it's not in my Rampage note. My Dynamite notes. So hold on.
You know what?
The Kings of the Black Throne.
Which is what their tag team was called before.
Right. They became the House of Black.
Before they became the House. Basically, before they brought in Buddy Matthews, they were the Kings of the Black Throne. Which I really love that name better than House of Black. To me, that's more destructive in a sense.
Don't forget, we have Julia Hart in this, though.
You have your queen and the king.
Okay. Well, we should pay recognition to the
let's go off of that. Let's play off that a little bit. Now, are we only getting, and this might be why they're calling themselves Kings of the Black Throne right now, is it only Brody and Malachi? Because if it's Brody and Malachi, it's the Kings of the Black Throne. But maybe if it was Buddy and Malachi, okay, then it's House of Black. Then we play into that House of Black type mentality.
You sold me. Perro del Grosso, or
I legitimately thought when I heard the name change, I immediately thought Italian sauce. So red sauce, anything like that. Pellegrasso is an actual Italian spaghetti sauce that's in markets now.
Yeah.
I'm speaking like I'm 95. But I remember that thing. Yeah, Pellegrasso
is an Italian name in Altoona that has Del Grosso Park and their own Italian sauce as well. It was a quick win for Preston Vance.
Let's build him up. You know what? I love that Preston Vance is getting.
I do too.
The airtime in that. I'll beat up his name all I want, but good job to him. Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
Darby gets Mike Bennett. I'm eating my words now. I like this. I'm okay with Darby having the TNT Championship because of matches like this.
Yeah.
Joe wasn't going to give us this. And it's nothing against Joe. I love Joe. Joe's not wrestling every week.
Yeah.
That TNT title isn't going to be showcased every week. Okay. This Wardlow, I'm still going to bitch. Wardlow's still lost in the shuffle. Maybe it's just Wardlow's taking a break and getting ready for a bigger run. and then we'll calm down. But for a couple weeks, I'm still gonna bitch. But Crow is in front of me. I'm eating it. Darby is TNT champion right now. Gives us matches like this, and man, I loved it.
So let's go. I loved it too. I want to push the envelope with you a little bit. Do you think if he gets a consistent run, and I'm talking, they actually let him run with the title for like 6 months, do you think that puts him back in the graces of being a pillar for AEW? Because no, okay. Because I was going to say
what he's going to do to his body in those 6 months.
6 months is going to take him. That's fair. It comes down to safety. To me, he could rebuild if he's having banger after banger after banger. That's fantastic. It's building a prestige of the title. Yeah, you can be a pillar, but you bring up an excellent point. It's a safety issue with Darby. What kind of craziness is he going to do? I mean, we've seen it since day one where he was doing coffin drops on aprons and then jumping on people onto chairs off of ladders and just doing stupid shit afterwards. Stupid shit after stupid shit after stupid shit. I feel bad. Darby thinks he has to be this daredevil character, and I guess that is the persona he built, but he really doesn't.
Not every match.
Not every match, no. He can live by the coffin drop and wrestle a decent match without doing anything crazy and stupid.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Agreed. Agreed wholeheartedly. I can't even say, well, by the way, I do want more Kingdom. I really do.
Yeah.
I really think that they should be in a title hunt or, the ROH titles. I mean, listen, the Briscoes have them right now. When are we going to see those on TV? I don't think we are.
No. Only at select pay-per-views or maybe Honor Club.
Yeah.
Whenever they start the show up.
What's that doing for ROH right now? Where the crossover of AEW ROH, I understand we're trying to separate it a little bit, but you can't have one and not have all.
Yep.
So, yep. Well, so does that mean, okay, there you go. So does that mean we are see ROH championship for a while?
If we don't start seeing ROH championships for a while, that means the program's coming to me. Yeah. Because it's pushing the envelope.
And I think that's better then.
Yeah, I completely agree. But to that point, we're going to still see it, at least the world title on a regular basis, as long as it's around Claudio's waist. So we'll at least get that exposure to it. But your TV title, your tag team titles, your women's title, because we haven't heard from Athena since ROH Final Battle, those are all going to be in a shelf somewhere until they're ready to roll out the product. And I got to think that's coming here. Maybe around Revolution time, they say, hey, we're going to kick off Tuesday nights or whatever they want to do with it. Here's ROH for you guys. Or it's streaming live. We drop them every Tuesday morning at 3 a.m. Go watch it whenever you want. Maybe they're going to, yeah.
WWE makes a sale, okay? Do we keep wrestling on the same nights? Do we look at that if we're a different company as well? I know this just came up out of nowhere. By the way, this is the break in between Rampage and Battle of the Belts right now.
Yeah.
Legit on TV. So Mark can bring this up. Do we keep the same nights?
I think you have to keep Monday Night Raw on Monday nights because it's 30 years. You're not going to fucking move it, right?
I would be pissed.
And also happy anniversary to that because that was the other day.
Yeah, but Monday is the big anniversary show.
Yeah, Monday's but I'm gonna wish it happy anniversary on the actual day it happened. So
I know, I understand.
Yeah, no, I get that. Monday's the anniversary show in that. Also, when we get the WWE, I have a question for you because I saw it pop up in their Twitter today, and I'm gonna see your answer for this. But
I still have the Evans thing too, so go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. But going off of that, you could see NXT can move. NXT doesn't need to stay Tuesday nights. Friday Night SmackDown's moved I don't know how many times in the history of its programming, so it can move. I don't see why you couldn't move 2 of the 3 shows. I just think your flagship show that you still call your flagship show stays on Mondays because it is legitimately been branded with Mondays since the beginning of time. So
yeah, and I think you look at what else is going on. Yeah, I don't know. A question that we can think about, but yeah, Raw. I would be mad if that moved. SmackDown has been Tuesday. It's been Friday.
It's been
Tuesday,
Thursday.
Yeah, the only day it's not been is Wednesday. But,
and they're not going to move it to Wednesday unless they want to start a fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's start a riot. Battle of the Belts time. The Acclaimed against Jeff Hardy and Lethal. Jenks, this was a no hold bar, count anywhere. Bet. First 5 minutes of it was. And then it was a normal match. Like,
yeah. They always do this. Like, no holds barred, they build it up, and unless it's legitimately the Elite and fucking Death Triangle,
yeah.
it doesn't end up being that way. It just ends up being a normal tag match for about half of it, and then they finally pull out a chair and say, oh, we can use these. And that's how we do it. I mean, the rap overshadowed the match to me. But,
yeah.
So
3 referees, and then essentially Aubrey making the count. And yeah.
Props to Aubrey. That was a fun spot, but it was like, okay. We knew it was coming, but.
So who's next? FTR is taking some time off.
They're gone. And I think that runs right to the end of their contract, too, to be honest. They've dropped everything. They're gone.
But are they?
Unless they're
if you're FTR and Triple H is your boy. Again, we're going to talk about this with contracts and everything about everybody.
Yeah.
We're linked to WWE. This is the time. I don't know if signing with WWE, if you're anybody at this time, makes sense. Can't you go back to Khan and say, listen, 1-year deal, let me see what we can do. I'll put your people over. We still have the name of FTR to work for you. Or you just say, fuck it. I'm going to go work some NWA. I'm going to work some Impact. I'm going to come to Martinez Wrestling Federation. I'm going to go to Jenks's Jamboree. I'm going to go to Hetrick's Whorehouse. I'm just going to work all these little, indie shows, building up my stock. That's a big name. They're probably, if you're going to throw it out there, the free agent tag team that everybody would want. How do you say, yeah, I'm going to jump when this company is being sold right now?
I don't know, because I personally wouldn't do it. But here's my thing.
What do you mean?
Here's my thing. This podcast Dak started has always felt to me as it was started for a reason. And there's something else going on, right? We're taking trips down memory lane. We're thinking about the past. We're talking about Punk. We're getting that all laid out. We're not softening our language around talent wherever we work. I'm not saying it's leading up to an announcement of we're going here, we're going there, but I'm also saying this seems like it only has legs for as long as they wanted to have it, and they've planned out how everything flows. Because you don't dedicate a whole episode to the revival and the start of FTR without a reason. So to me, it feels like everything's almost done except for pen to paper in legitimate contract talks, because they can't have those, but they can hint around at it and they can kind of say things. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they ended up in New Japan and just hung out there for 6 months. They might, at the Nostalgia Act, NWA, they could do that as well. I just feel like there's something else going on with this podcast too that's kind of making me think something's not all connecting here. But where do they end up? I don't know.
We get an update of the Book of Hobbs. Cool. He's still writing the book. Whatever. I don't know where this is going.
you know what? I'm glad he's writing the book. Maybe he's going to be the next challenger for Joe's ROH title. I think he's been underserved for a long time. I completely agree. But they always do this. They always do vignettes with him. Have him for one series of matches, and then he disappears again.
And brings back another vignette.
Forget. What are we doing?
Yeah. Horrible booking around this poor guy.
Plot twist me. Just have him face freaking...
gross.
Yeah, just have him face Keith Lee. Plot twist this. Turn it into something.
Where's he been? Who?
I don't know. Limitless Keith Lee
Andrade?
is
What?
limitlessly gone.
Miro? Wait.
Well, Andrade said bye recently on his Instagram, so he's
waiting to talk to Charlotte again.
Yeah, he's playing his long game there.
Yeah. Miro is just mad because he didn't want to lose. CJ says maybe I'll be coming to AEW. Everybody returns back to WWE at some point. Listen, yeah. Jade against Sky Blue for the TBS title. First thing I put was instantly at the end. I said the finish and the strength of Jade and Sky Blue gave me the chills in this match. Unbelievable finish.
Completely agreed. The way they transitioned into 4 different moves on that, and it looked seamless. It looked perfect, right all the way through Jaded. Goddamn, you have talent in spades in there, and great fucking chemistry between those two. If we ever want to revisit this for an AEW title or just a rivalry down the line.
Jade becomes 48-0 or whatever the hell it was. So that strengthens her. But by losing in what happened, Sky Blue wins this.
Yep.
Just because. I will say this. This was all her. The jumping up, and we'll break down a move once in a while here.
Yeah.
The jumping up and the coming down and saving herself for Jade to pick her back up and drop. That's all Sky.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, yes, it takes Jade the wherewithal to hold her, but to make it that seamless, this was amazing.
Yep.
This needs to happen again.
Completely agree. And prolonged. Happen again. Prolong a series of matches with them. Let's run it back. I'd love to revisit this in a year. See what they can do. When the streak's over with, and there's a legitimate chance they'd give Sky Blue a victory over Jade. Let's see where we're at in a year. Because both ladies, I think, will be playing in the cards, playing in at least mid to upper card at some point. Jade probably more main card than anything, but they're going to be playing here. They're going to be
TBS is going to be Sky Blue soon.
Yeah,
I think once we get this title off of her, first person that wins it, transitional, and then you're going to see it go on the likes of Sky, Red, these, and I'm not saying lower tier because I don't mean that because I love them, but not the main event players.
Yep.
This title is going to be to build the person, not the title. Listen, if Jade didn't have this title, did the title build her or did she build the title?
She didn't do much for the title, to be honest. For the title, build her to an extent. Yeah.
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 When did she get the title? At 10-0? Something. I mean, I don't.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just been here.
Here it is. You're going to put notoriety of some sort around it. I like your thought process. Going off your point, I like that a lot. It's probably going to end up being what the Intercontinental Championship was for WWE. This is going to be the workwoman's title around the horn and building up those future stars, like you were saying earlier. It's going to build up those future stars because at some point, Tony's going to roll out. Well, Tony's a lot younger, but Britt's going to roll out. Everybody's going to start rolling out. Yeah, they're younger right now, but 5-6 years, they're going to be on doing something new. Got to get the other people on. So.
Holy schmoly. Recording at 8 o'clock, and I just realized. Man, I don't know. listen, I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy can lose this title. It's not doing anything for him. I don't know if the All Atlantic Championship is doing anything for anybody across the board.
It needs a strong champion. And honestly, it's becoming to be very obvious that there's going to be a turn in the best friends at some point.
Right.
And that's where the title's going to change.
The Chuck?
No, it's not Chuck. I think it's Trent. Trent comes back around for it. I always thought when Trent came back, there's just that enough tension there between him and Orange.
They should have did it then.
They should have did it then, or even when, Trent's starting to complain about Danhausen and all these people hanging around the best friends, and then just go for it then. But now Trent's had that taste of the title. I just think Trent's going to be on, and they're probably both going to go because Chuck's right there with Trent in the trenches. So they're probably going to both turn on him. But
let it happen.
Let it happen.
Dynamite time.
Dynamite.
What a way to start. Hangman and Mox. Holy shit. This is what I fucking wanted. Holy shit. Hangman wins. Literally couldn't give you like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the Mox having some issue. Is this where Mox finally gets his vacation? And I say this nicely because because what happens next is also big. Like, there's players now that Mox can take a couple weeks off, and for the love of God, that give this guy a couple weeks off.
Yep. Hey,
I love this.
6 weeks is Revolution. We revisit it one more time at Revolution and some sort of brutal grudge match between the two.
So he's off for 6 weeks?
He's off for 6 weeks. You come back?
No, he's not off for 6 weeks.
You never know.
Maybe no matches for 6 weeks, but you're getting at least I'm going to call you out or something like that.
It could be that they start building up and maybe Mox comes back in 4. I think he's gone for at least multiple weeks. Right.
Oh,
now.
I agree. Multiple weeks.
Yeah. So maybe it's not 6, but it's 4. They start to build their Mox may not come back at that point, but maybe it's going to be the return of Mox at Revolution or something like that for the grudge match. But goddamn, fucking those lariats were hitting. Everything was hitting. And I was happy and surprised. Not that it was a clean victory, but seeing Hangman actually win the match. I wasn't sure if they were going to pull the trigger and say, oh, Mox wins again, whatever.
Odd that.
Yeah. So I was very happy to see Hangman win this. Boom!
Didn't expect this.
No.
This was my moment of the week. This was maybe where I injured myself too.
I'm sorry, I woke up Bailey.
This was This was Mark was up out of his seat. This was shut the hell up down there. Yep. This was all of that encompassed, and I was so happy. And I was hook, line, and sinker. I thought, he's telling us he's gone.
Yeah.
I had a tear. And I'm like, he's telling me he's gone.
I was welling up because I knew. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. He's going to pull the rug out. Also, they built it up with Tony Schiavone perfectly, saying, it brings me no joy to introduce our next guest, because they had been hyping up the MJF appearance for the entire time. We know the history there, so they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. And if the boom hits, I let loose. Baby! And they go. It was fantastic. But yeah, he had me hook, line, and sinkered. But it looks like we're getting a babyface Cole, which I'm kind of excited for to see how this goes here. But I guess all the elites kind of babyface right now, so it makes sense. But I like it. Let's see what we can do. Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. Essentially, if they don't put a rocket to his ass right now and get him in there, I think you lose something. Like he's always been like wrestling fans. He's a wrestling fan man, you know, like everybody's always liked what he's done in the ring, good, bad, or ugly. He's always been just that guy on the mic. We've always liked him. Nobody's ever said, man, I really don't fucking like Adam Cole because he's a little guy.
Yeah.
he's compared to, love or hate this guy, he's this generation's Shawn Michaels, what he can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you heard that?
Yep.
I think it is the time. 6 months. Because I'm a fucking mark. This is how my mind changes so fast. This is who takes it off of MJF in 6 months. He gets a little generic feud going with somebody, gets that win. You know, like the win. He might take a couple match losses, but the feuds, to build them up. MJF, Adam Cole, why not?
I'd go MJF, Adam Cole, Double or Nothing, 5 months. I think that's your build.
But yeah.
No, yeah, it fits your timeline. But I think that's the perfect example. You brought it up. You get a big win, Revolution, to really kind of strap that rocket ship to your ass and go. We have to see where he goes, what the in-between build, who's that one person to be that first match, right? Who does that end up being? And it could be anybody at this point. I really don't know who they would. I don't want to say sacrifice to Adam Cole, but put in front of Adam Cole as that fight.
Yeah, but it can't be me or you.
No,
can't be.
It has to be an upper
Fox.
card. It has to be a Jericho. Maybe revisit Joe, although I think that one's Wardlow and Joe now at Revolution. It has to be upper echelon. And honestly, I think it might be Jericho. I don't think this Ricky Starks thing with Jericho is getting to Revolution.
I don't think it's going over, let alone getting to Revolution.
Revolution, yeah. I think maybe it is Jericho versus Cole. Hell, that's a hell of a match for Revolution. Sign me up.
Yeah.
We could also see the Elite versus the JAS for the Trios title. Spoilers for the main event at Revolution as well. The JAS versus Elite would be a hell of a rivalry going forward for the next couple months.
Yeah. Book it, Dano.
Book it. Let's go.
Oh, by the way, if you're watching,
I'm watching
anything on Fox,
you're probably a minute ahead of me.
It doesn't matter. I just don't even need to mention it. It's nothing that I want to see.
It's not gonna end. It's not gonna end with a change. That's for sure. Anyways,
the Acclaim's getting a fucking Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Wait, what? How is that happening?
I don't know.
Oh, they clearly have to be it.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta see how they pull this off. I just want to see how they pull this off.
Lee Moriarty, I love. Pittsburgh boy through and through. Big Bill, man, I think they've underutilized him. I hate when they pair anybody up with Hook. This whole match just did nothing for me at all.
But here's the thing. They keep taking these big guys and not booking them to win. Lance Archer. I'm not even going to include Paul White in that, but Lance Archer. I'm going to throw fucking Hobbs in there. I'm going to throw, you could throw anybody that's a big, beefy guy. Keith Lee. I mean, they won the tag titles, but he had to win it with Swerve, and then there's Hook and by Crook, and then whatever for the past. Miro is a perfect example. The list goes on and on. They just don't do anything with them. And like Big Bill, I think, has built himself up in a way.
By the way, why the fuck did he have to change his name?
I thought the same thing. Why is Morrissey not the W. Morrissey or whatever they were going with? Why change it? Why make it Big fucking Bill?
I think this is horrible. I think of Bill Cosby's cartoon Little Bill. I don't know why. Like that, Big Bill's his dad. Little Bill. Oh my God, I'm a horrible human being. But it's just so stupid. Go ahead.
They should have just kept it William Morrissey and all that. It just had a distinct name to it, right? I don't know. But to that point, they keep destroying these big guys and not letting them get big. I would have loved more to see Hook throw Big Bill if Big Bill seemed like a big threat.
Yep.
He's only been attacking people left and right, not winning matches. So now when Hook throws him, like, oh, that's cool. He threw a big 7-foot guy, but he hasn't really done anything that would spark a reaction out of me. And Hook seemed like he could do it anyways. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jungle Boy gets him to tap out.
Yeah. Yay.
Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. Who was the dude wanted to show him stuff, and he's going to show him stuff last night on. What?
Apparently he won a Golden Globe. I don't know who this guy is, guys. Can somebody fill me in? What's his name? Hausen? William Hausen or something like that?
Well, we found out last night, and I'm sure.
We probably found out last night, but that's not what it is. That just took me to some sort of church thing. Get out of here. What is going on here?
You're doing too much.
There's too much Googling going on here. All right.
Danielson against.
Are you going to say it?
Takashi. Right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say the way MJF said it. You were debating that.
Oh. Go ahead.
Shit. Now I can only think of Take a Shitta.
Take a Shitta.
Fuck.
MJF called him Take a Shitta.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I can't even think straight. But Take a Shitta. MJF sold that well. Him coming after him, tell him kiss his ass and all that stuff.
He's pinning shoulders on mats and banging rats. Maybe that should be my next tattoo. I was surprised you sent me that text because I'm like, oh, Mark's watching tomorrow. He's not watching right now. And all of a sudden I get the text from Mark and he's like pinning shoulders on mats and banging rats. It's definitely gonna be. That needs to get into the somehow.
Yeah, you gotta get it. Put on the hand.
Not going over with that.
Get on the thigh. Put on the thigh. You'll be fine.
No. I didn't give two shits that Ken Jong-un was there or Freddie Prinze. Freddie Prinze looks old. I mean, I'm 45 and I understand that, but holy shit, he looked like my father.
He looked very old.
Freddie Prinze Sr. was there.
He looked super old, super rough. But he is a Scooby-Doo douchebag, so.
You love Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo douchebag.
MJF made this. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. The match was great. Like, hard-hitting match. But let me say this to get hate. Take a Shit and needs to win something over here in America because every time he's over here, oh, my God. And then whoever is wrestling makes him his bitch.
It's like, I get he's just starting out, but people have bought into him. Like, people want him to win. How do you get him that win?
No, to beat Danielson this week, it would have derailed that whole storyline.
I completely agree, but at some point he has to get a big win. So I'm fine with him losing to Danielson, but you have to start booking him against talent, like mid-card talent, that he can start winning against. Because if I'm booking this right now, I want him. Honestly, I would be wanting him to be the one to dethrone Darby for the TNT title. And how can I make that pitch if he's not going to win a match coming up here? And I'm trying to look up how to say his last name. So, give me 1 second here. Takeshita. Yeah. Okay. Did you hear that come through?
I have it. No, I didn't. I have it down phonetically. As words.
Fair enough. Takeshita. All right.
But overall, I don't want to say anything bad. I love the match. It served its purpose, but it didn't do anything for me.
It was a fantastic match. I love the spot that kind of looked like a botch, but ended up being like a pseudo pin attempt type thing. I don't know the best way to describe that, but I guess that's something that Takeshita has done several times before over in Japan. It's a legit spot of his that he's actually done. So I thought that was a pretty sweet little, kind of looks like a botch, but it really isn't a botch, and we can make it work type thing. I love how they bring those little things into there and just make it work enough. So
that little callback to New Japan.
Yeah, I like it.
Juice Robinson challenges Darby. yeah, this is probably where we talk about Darby not being a pillar again, because I imagine this is going to be a match that Hellfire and Brimstone, and Darby is going to go through like
12 tables.
fire extinguishers, and chairs and shit. Yeah, this isn't where he needed to go again. We just got done bitching about Darby doing this stuff.
When does Darby get thrown through the ramp entranceway?
You have to save that for a pay-per-view.
I would agree, but
if you do that on Rampage, just for the money aspect of wrestling.
Well, you know what? They're probably not going to do it until the Young Bucks jump off of it, maybe. Because it's built for somebody to jump off of and then hit a move and then probably coffin drop or something off of it, and that too. Also, can Darby stay around until Sting retires later this year? Should we place bets on that or what? Because he's supposedly retiring later this year.
Yeah.
So can Darby not injure himself so that he can watch Sting retire?
We're talking Sting retiring. Probably.
Well, I agree. I'm just throwing out a joke. Maybe. Play a little over under here. Can he make it till 10 months?
Not with an injury. There's an injury in between.
There's something happening. No, something is happening.
And straight months. No. Biggest disappointment of the week, not in the match, but in everything. Tony and Saraya against Britt and Jamie. Wow, we really bit into everything. I put a sad face and sent it right to Jenks. I'm like, wait, what happened?
And I sent right back. That's why they gave us Adam Cole, baby, because that was they didn't get Monet, so they had to give us something. I think, the match itself was perfectly fine, great.
And there's a story to go with Sheeta.
There's a story with Sheeta that drives home. Now she's on the fence with Saraya and Tony. But man, really, really wish we would have got Monet. But I said it to you. We did spun it. We spun it and said, maybe it's happening at Revolution. Maybe it's after we're done with the New Japan commitments, or what?
After Saraya challenges and or wins. We don't know. We have our thoughts, but we feel that it's leading up to Jamie and Saraya.
It has that feel, yeah. And honestly, I don't see Jamie making it past. We can give this prediction if it happens and when it comes, but it's a hard sell not to give the belt for that feel-good moment to Saraya. And if they do, then the turnaround is, oh, here's Mercedes walking right out.
And it's a 1 month. It's a 1 month title reign for Saraya. Because one, she doesn't need it. Two, it puts a little cloud on the title. The title needs it. But three, it's doing the due diligence of bringing the big picture in then.
Yep, exactly. And honestly, if that's the way this whole thing works out, I kind of like it better because I was struggling to place them both on the same team based on the history they have with the injury that ended Saraya's in-ring career in WWE.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this proceeds forward.
We touched on Kingston and all of that. We touched on the JAS, kind of with Starks and Andrade, how it's just not. I'm sorry, it's nobody. I don't know if it's that I still throw it back that they took the legs out of Starks.
Yeah.
When they had Hobbs destroy him in 30 seconds. Because that's when everybody was on him.
Yep.
Now you're throwing Starks with Action Andrade. I don't know. We shouldn't Action Andrade be the one calling out Jericho? Why did he push this spotlight to Starks now?
Yeah, I don't know why Starks is involved in this at all. Because to me, this is more of a spot for a more seasoned vet in Action Andrade than Andretti or whatever his name is. And that's where the spot should be. Starks is not a seasoned vet. Starks, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, Starks is a fresh face that should be building to be one of your pillars of being one of your main event players. I get a rivalry with Jericho, but it seems like they're trying to stuff two things at once. Let's not do that. Have the Action Andretti thing for a couple weeks, have Jericho get a win back, flip it around, then hit it with Ricky Starks. You'd be perfectly fine. So they must I don't know why they're shoehorning this, but there must be something on the horizon that they want to do quicker than they anticipated, and I don't know what's up with that.
Maybe it is. Boom.
Maybe.
Get this out of the way in like 2 weeks. Give Cole another week to chat. Get this wrapped up, and then Bebe comes back around and says, "You've been a bitch, Jericho.
Yeah.
Let's go." People be like, "All right, yeah, let's go." Look, we are.
People will bite it, yeah. People will hook, line, and sinker this, but
Ready?
Freddie?
Match 7 will not be my tag team match of the year. I loved it, but I guarantee there will be a better match. So they will not have respectable matches back-to-back years.
I would agree
it
with
was
that.
just off a little bit.
It was off
Crazy
a
ass
little
shit.
bit.
But yeah.
It was crazy as shit because that's what we expected it to be. And I agree, it was off a little bit. Cool spots left and right, don't get me wrong. And things look like they hurt very well. The whole pack outside where Omega goes through the table and then one of the Jacksons flips on him. Fantastic spot. Loved every minute of it. But you're right. I don't think it's going to be match of the year for tag teams. Not anywhere close to. It might be top 5, 10, but
Honorable. Yeah.
I feel like we have a lot of other potential coming down the pipe here with this.
Oh, I agree. The one winged angel though from the
heavens. It was from the heavens.
Stupid. Like I'm watching ahead because if that head's not tucked, there's people are going to heaven.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, man, don't. This is crazy. Make sure you got his head. And I know they're professionals and everything, but shit happens sometimes. Man.
To me, that is a more dangerous spot than when Kenny jumped off the side of the one stadium railing onto. It was a crash mat with Sammy Guevara. This was more dangerous. It's a fucking ring. You have limited space, and you're literally one leg on the fucking ladder at one point just to get this to swing.
Yeah.
Takes some balls, takes some talent, and takes a hell of a lot of trust in Kenny Omega to make that work. So
the titles are back on the Elite, where essentially they should have been being a dick 5 months ago, after all this. Where do we go with this now? Is this where we get a build-up of the JAS, of the Kings of the Black Throne? Do we see another trio trickling around?
I mean, the only one that really trickles around here gives a reason to the podcast again for FTR, and it's FTR and Punk somehow, and they bring Punk back. He's been posting a lot of stuff for AEW Superstars, sharing photos of him and Brody King eating ice cream, talking about him being at the Forum, parking cars, and now he's inside. He's giving props to people. He's not done with AEW, I don't think. And maybe this is a trios match we get at Revolution. I don't know.
This is crazy. If it is, it's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah. If it is, it's crazy. And it's match of the night. I'll call it now. Because whatever you put on that card outside of that is going to pale in comparison to whatever happens in this match.
And that's the downfall. I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to talk about this for a long time probably, but the quick thoughts. That's MJF Danielson. That's Adam Cole's big match back. That's Hangman Mox again. That's the Acclaimed, and I don't know. The downfall of the tag team division will probably take a step back that night. Maybe you get Acclaimed against me and you.
Yeah.
That's Saraya Jamie. Like, these are big ass matches that we're trying to build up and say we're going to be excited for. And if you throw FTR and Punk against the Elite, how is that not your main event? From the story, get ready.
Alone.
You've built up from the scrum until this. You don't let MJF be the main event? What the fuck? Then I can see the 2024 battle coming because he says, the VPs are now in the main event. This triple threat is now the main. You could have collusion. of other wrestlers saying this has been it for the whole year? Or do they all put their panties in a bind and say, holy shit, did AEW just work over everybody in wrestling and we just made $1 bajillion because you idiots built hook, line, and sinker?
I think it's the latter. And I think it feeds other storylines. You talked about the 2024 bid for MJF and that, and how the EVPs are corrupt. This takes a whole nother level to Punk MJF that we were supposed to get last fall. And now he can, all that anger, all that visceralness goes right back at Punk, and Double or Nothing is now Punk and MJF in Vegas, because it's always in Vegas. Fucking who the hell knows, steel cage, barbed wire, exploding barbed wire match, whatever the fuck they end up coming up with. It's going to happen. Thank God that happened. Also, I might be ahead of you. No, something else is coming down the pipe. Okay.
Oh no, it's just.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, I think that could be on the horizon here. So it sets up a plethora of possibilities where we want to go. I will say though, if this card works out the way we are thinking it works out, pay-per-view of the year. I don't think
mine last year.
Exactly. I don't think anything could overshadow
We say
what
that month.
we always do.
month.
I get that, but the Punk coming back, that there's just a lot going on there. So we could speculate till all live long day, but it plants seeds, threads, and has AEW working us like a fucking.
And Punk's injuries are all healed up.
Yep. Exactly.
We have to talk about WWE. It's not going to be long, folks, but we have to talk about a little bit of WWE. And it's going to come up next in a minute.
This is the vivacious, vicious Vicky. If nobody knows who I am, I feel so bad for you. But with that being said, take a seat, because you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast. Stay tuned.
Bang, bang! Welcome back, everybody. Can Crushers Nation. I tried to do a little Cactus Jack in there for you, because I believe today, I think I saw on Twitter, if you remember the build for 2000 Rumble, one of my favorite WWE title matches of all time, the Street Fight. This is the day that Mankind transformed into Cactus Jack, and I remember that being burned into my skull as a child and just loving every minute of that. Triple H's facial expression sold the whole thing. So
Your skull.
into my skull, not even the brain, it's just in the skull now. I have Cactus Jack, Wanted Dead or Alive, imprinted on the back of my skull.
WWE, we're going to kind of just glance around this week. There wasn't anything that were like, oh yeah, or oh no, or whatever. And essentially, let's start at the end of SmackDown last week and talk about, we thought maybe Sheamus and Drew were going to be starting this whole process of getting titles off the bloodline as we transition to WrestleMania or whatever. I never thought during that match it was going to happen. Just the way something, and I can't give you a pinpoint right at the beginning. I'm like, fuck, we got that wrong. I just had a feeling right from the beginning. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen.
I also think they took away from the match with the whole Sammy and Roman thing going back and forth. That's where I think it lost me, that it wasn't changing hands that night. It was just Roman having Sammy come watch the match with them, and then they sit down and it's like a Godfather type setting, things of that nature. Roman kind of gaslighting Sammy a little bit, trying to convince him, no, let me apologize. It's my fault and all this. That seemed off. And then the fucking popcorn and all the theatrics going on there. It was too centered around Sammy and Roman for them to change the titles off of the Usos. So to me, that's where it pinpointed is. This is more about Sammy and Roman than this is about the tag titles. And I think that was a really big disservice to what this match could have been overall.
Yeah. Good points. You're probably right on all of that. And maybe my head wasn't clicking to say, oh, yeah. But now to hear it come back like that, that's perfect. Makes perfect sense. I did think we were going to get a new women's champion, though. I thought, holy shit. I thought because Charlotte's title reigns are 30 seconds. Maybe
true.
once in a while, and you had me talking about this. You were talking about this, last week, and I'm like, oh my God, they're finally going to Sonya. They're finally going to Sonya. They're not going to Sonya. And the talking built me up, and I'm like, holy shit. And then when they went to commercial, I'm like, well, Sonya's at the back of the barrel again.
Yeah.
But do we get this wrap back around? Is this the start of Sonya's push? Because that's who I could see Money in the Bank.
I would love to see that be the case, but she has to start racking up wins. I have, unfortunately,
written her off as much as I have.
I might have to write her off, but again, this is a new regime with her. Maybe this is her year to make the Money in the Bank, because she definitely does deserve it and should have a shot at it. So if anybody with an MMA background should get a shot at the title, it's Sonya, not Ronda, but we'll get there when we get there. I'll take that shot, live long day.
Bang,
bang. Bang, bang. May have inadvertently named the show. But it's booms and bangs.
I was taking a drink, but
you're welcome.
Booms and bangs.
Booms and bangs.
I'll forget by the time I'm done editing.
But yeah, so I would love to see it be her time. Let's have her be her time and let her shine. Get her a WrestleMania win, but against who? I don't know. But get her some sort of win. Huh? Natalia?
Brooke.
Give her Natalia. That'll build her up. Or like Liv. Like, why not revisit the Liv matches? Those were symphonies of destruction in their own right. Why not revisit Liv again and have her beat Liv?
Yeah.
Because honestly, Liv has now established herself as an upper mid card. So let's start pushing people to either have her help get over, and then we start building up that rivalry again. They clicked. They worked. Their matches were halfway decent. I mean, were they inconsequential to the long scheme of things? Yeah, because it was only going to be a one-off storyline, but I think they can build this up and move forward with it.
Yeah.
What am I'm a minute behind.
That's all right. Here's my question. Did you see this past week, and then we'll talk more about whatever you want to in WWE. Did you see this past week where Sergeant Slaughter is not a fan of Lacey Evans and is pissed off that Lacey Evans, and I didn't know this, for the love of God, I didn't know this, because she's on Main Event or nothing, is using the Cobra Clutch and did not ask Slaughter if she could use that?
Yeah, I did not realize she was using the Cobra Clutch again, because I don't watch the Main Event or anything like that. I did see Slaughter pissed off about it. I mean, rightfully so.
You're going to be that guy. Good.
I won't.
This is going to be the fight we're going to start then.
That's fine. It's been a long-standing tradition you ask for permission to use a move. Now, I'm not saying Sergeant Slaughter's in the right here, guys. Don't get me wrong on that. But it's been a tradition in wrestling. Can I use your move going forward? It's a tradition. Do I necessarily think traditions should stick? No, but I mean, you had things like, I think about a couple years in 2020 when Austin Theory first came up to the main roster, and I think when he was just in NXT, actually, he was using a move similar to the RKO. He asked permission from Randy Orton to use to use that move. I think it's a traditional thing, guys. Am I right, wrong, indifferent, or like it? I don't. To me, it's what it is, but it's tradition.
You're telling me, first off and foremost, okay?
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe Lacey Evans called $1 Million Man and said, "Can I use $1 Million Dream?" And he said, "Okay," because it's the same fucking move.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
And Slaughter's got his panties in a bind.
Right.
So you're telling me, stirring the pot.
Do
I
it.
completely agree with you, but stirring the pot. Every wrestler on the indies has to call these legends at IWC. I don't know. Alexander Apollo has to call Slaughter and say, "I'm going to use this in a match."
I'm going to sarcastically say I would love to see that, because this would shut down this tradition very, very quickly.
Right.
I say sarcastically, I would love to see it, because it would be a million calls. But I do agree, if every person did that, it would shut this down absolutely quickly, because who wants to pick up a phone 50 times from, well, it's probably more than that, because
it's San Jose to El Paso.
There's got to be at least thousands of independent wrestling shows and things in operation. I think it goes back to we only care if we know it's seen.
If it's on TV.
If it's on TV, we care.
Title Match Network, IWTV, ICW Network, and this, there's networks out there, and people just post shit. If it was back in the day, I understand that. You just can't now. You can't.
You can't. But it's on a big name.
Right.
If it wasn't on WWE, this would be a non-issue right now.
WWE, AEW, or Impact.
No Impact. Any of those three, people are complaining.
If you don't get a phone call, because I don't know who I'm gonna throw a name out, and don't send any hate. Kylan King does a bro kick now, and she didn't call Sheamus. What the hell? Because she's an NWA.
Well, and let's go flip side of that. Maybe Sheamus gets upset, but maybe Albert gets upset because it's a bicycle kick, and he knows it's a bicycle kick. Or maybe this guy knows it as a two-step kick. But then it gets
pissed off because Booker T started to kick.
Exactly. But he did it to the back of their head. So now if somebody hits it on the back of their head doing the same thing, it's
Where
all up
did that kick really come from? Did Ox Baker actually kick somebody first back in the 70s, and nobody's called him because he's only worried about making fucking chili because his head is not on right?
Well, let's take it back.
350 days, folks. By the way, go watch that.
I mean, hell, let's take it one step further, and let's take it to the mother of all fucking moves that is in every goddamn match, the super kick. Did the Young Bucks call Adam Cole, who called this guy, this person, that person, this person, and then this person called Shawn Michaels and said, hey, can we use Sweet Chin Music? And then Shawn Michaels called whoever made the crescent kick when Gorilla Monsoon was calling it the crescent kick way back when. Did Shawn Michaels call them? That game of telephone would be every single professional wrestler to ever exist, except maybe The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
There's just no way.
It's got to stop.
Yeah.
It's got to stop. And if that's our MO for this week, it really does. It's wrestling. Everything is borrowed, rehashed, or stolen and repackaged. And here's the thing. Here's why. When you have over 100 years of lineage, it is very hard to create a new move to utilize and use as a finisher. That's why you see things stick, like the Canadian Destroyer stuck in the early 2000s, because Petey Williams, that was absolutely new. Bonkers. It was crazy. Right.
The sharpshooter you can go into. There were so many moves that were just, they threw you for a loop and you never thought you'd see. And that's why we popped for Jade and Sky Blue doing the transitions into Jaded, which is just, did she call Beth Phoenix for the Glam Slam? Because that's what it is. It's evolutions on the talent, and that's why so many new moves just make the most difference going forward. But yeah, this needs to stop. There's just so many things you can do with the human body to make it work.
It's Slaughter and Lacey Evans are the two that started this.
Unreal.
Once again, my hate for Lacey Evans. Get back to WWE in general. Corey Speaks sales in Vince McMahon. I mean, yeah, they had action, but people just worried about what was going on.
That was it. I think a lot of that took away from the product and what people cared about. And to be honest, I mean,
showing already right now on SmackDown.
Yeah,
I'm not a dick. Two things, and I'm like, oh, this is what we're getting.
And yep, there we go. This is over. But I sorry, Scarlett just did something. Anyways, I'm completely agree. There's just not much going on. It's the bloodline or bust right now, and Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt. Let's put it that way.
Until Cody comes back.
Yeah, that's it, and that should be at the Rumble. Oh, we get the red lighting back. Maybe Karrion Kross will start fighting in the red lighting instead of Bray.
Oh, I hope so. God, I hope that. What the hell is this? Oh my God. I don't have sound, but I don't know.
I don't have sound either.
It's just because we don't have sound because we're recording this.
Right.
To me, there's some hands already involved in this, and I hate to say it, a weekend.
Yeah, and they did the all talent, and I'm using this in quotations today to say no hands were in this, and he's only here for the sale. But now we're having 2 weeks in a row all talent meetings saying he's not involved in creative. Seems like you're trying to push a narrative that is obviously not there.
Yeah. We're gonna get force fed some stuff, and I don't know what. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, Alexa's joining Uncle Howdy at some point.
Yeah, Alexa is joining Uncle Howdy. Shocking, isn't it?
And right out of left field. Never saw it coming whatsoever.
Speaking of, oh, definitely not Alexa. We get a return of somebody tonight. All right, that's it. We'll talk about this show that's on right now. Maybe from some highlights and some stuff that goes on. Just do a little bit of Impact. I hate when we're this late into the show because everything.
Now you're
I hate it. I love talking, but like, wait, what? Why are we doing this?
We're squirreling really hard right now. Squirrel, yeah.
What? So
Squirrel?
Yeah, we'll talk about all wrestling next week. Even throw some Impact in and give you your thoughts on Hard to Kill. So yeah, Jenks, I love you.
I love you too, man. We'll give all our breakdowns, and hey, maybe Prison Dom will give us some other gem this upcoming week. We'll see what happens.
Prison Dom. Hopefully he can get another tattoo around his eye of killing somebody.
Hey, you know what? If he gets those tag titles in the near future here.
Yeah. My God. Booms and bangs.
Booms and bangs.
So many different things, and you take it as you want. Excuse me. That was my circle water coming back up. What do you got going on?
Nothing. Hoping for a good weekend. And we'll see what happens next week. There's a debate about maybe doing some fun stuff. We'll see what happens, but that's what I got going on. Keeping it close to chess. But what are you up to?
I'm not allowed leaving the house, so I will be. Side note: I have a ton of Pardon the Paranormal podcasts to record, and that'll be Sunday and Saturday or today. I will be doing a lot of video games. Monday I'll be going back to the doctor, and Tuesday hopefully I get to go back to work.
And we're gonna stay in the truck on Tuesday, right?
Yes, Dad. Until I have to come home.
Love you.
For 2 more weeks. So, yeah. I will be doing nothing fun.
It'll be better in the long run.
Remember, just because I am trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
Mark, you're a trash can, not a trash cannot.
Guys, remember, tell your loved ones you love them.
Make sure you do.